Welcome, the tribe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a special Bardo's breakdown. I'm on the road. I've got Cleveland State and Michigan tonight, so I wanted to come on a little bit earlier and just to welcome everyone to the 2024-2025 college basketball season. We've been banging all season long, getting prepared for this. I'm at the Westin Hotel in the Detroit airport, getting ready for Cleveland State and Michigan. So this will be a quick one. I won't be on long because I've got to get over the Michigan shoot around here in about an hour. So hope you guys are excited as I am. Looking forward to tonight. And 14 of the 18 Big Ten teams will be playing this evening. So for some of you fans that your team start out on Big Ten Plus, it's not a slight. It's just that there are so many games that the networks have to make a decision on who's going to be on and whatnot. I don't know what goes into that. That's above my pay grade. But we're here. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. And so I just want to go over about 6 different questions I have to start out the Big Ten slate, the college basketball season, in particular about Big Ten teams, and then we'll go from there. First off, guys, think about joining the tribe. Go to bardostribe.com to get your free copy of the guide to the new Big Ten. All the pertinent information you need about the ever expanding conference that when I was playing was 10 programs. Now it's 18. So everything you need to know, from famous alums to the best places to eat, the best bars to attend, some notable non-conference games. It's a great guide. Make sure you go to bardostribe.com and get your free copy. All right. Or you can text me 312-847-2739. There's 2 different ways to join the tribe. You want to be in the tribe because if you're a part of some of those membership tiers, we're going to go once a week on Thursday for the $10 tier. The $100 tier, you get a personal phone call each month. And we have our own separate group that meets each week, and I go through all the games and all your questions. So consider doing that if you're serious about being a college basketball fan and want some intel about these games. All right, let's get to it. Let me start off with the marquee matchup of the night, in my opinion, guys. Ohio State versus Texas in Las Vegas. Texas is a ranked opponent in a stacked SEC. It's going to be interesting to see if Bradshaw will play. I know he had a concussion last week in practice, but they'll definitely need the 7-footer to be a rim protector against this very athletic and deep Texas Longhorn team. We'll see if Bruce Thornton has added something to his game, whether Michi Johnson can continue the success that he had in South Carolina, when he can bring it back to being a Buckeye. If you remember, Michi started his career at Ohio State, so he's coming back home. So a lot of interesting storylines in that. But to me, that's the premier game of the 14-game slate in the Big Ten. Ohio State versus Texas in Las Vegas, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TNT. Illinois hosts Eastern Illinois, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on BTN Plus. I know some of you last week were a little bit upset because you were like, oh, that's no respect. Illinois is on Big Ten Plus. It doesn't have anything to do with that, guys. I don't think it has anything to do with respect or lack of respect. It's 14 games. There's a lot going on. There are other sports going on with BTN. So don't get upset. The fact that this first game out of the box is on BTN Plus doesn't mean a thing. Doesn't mean how the conference or the networks feel about Illinois. Has nothing to do with it. It's a numbers thing. Don't be upset. What am I looking for in this ball game? Just an improvement. I know there was Hell Week this past week in practice based on the outcome of the exhibition against Ole Miss, and that's a great thing. So they got back to work. I'll be anxious to see the work that they've made. Can they dominate Eastern Illinois, which is a program that's really struggled over the years? I believe this is the 3rd consecutive season that Eastern Illinois will face Illinois. So I don't think that Illinois is in any danger of losing this game, but I would like to see Ben Humricaus expand his game. I'd like to see Kasparis take a little bit better care of the basketball. I would like to see Tomislav Ivicic play a little bit more aggressively. He scored towards the end of the Ole Miss regulation exhibition game, but during the time when the game was, really going, I think he deferred a little bit. Want to see what Will Riley looks like. Will Riley, in my opinion, because he's reclassed up, he should be a senior in high school this year. He's going to have the largest jump in terms of production throughout the year. I think that you're going to see the strides that he makes will be greater than any other player on this roster. And so I'm curious to see what that will look like tonight against Eastern Illinois. So that game I'm watching. And then, of course, I've got a very interesting game, guys. Make sure you tune in to Cleveland State at Michigan. Cleveland State is no slouch. Daniel Robinson has done a fantastic job in his first 2 seasons. The Vikings have gotten to the CBI tournament in the last 2 years. If you guys remember, he came in behind Dennis Gates when Dennis Gates had tremendous amount of success with Cleveland State. Then he went to Missouri. Daniel Robinson has been an assistant at Little Rock, Illinois State. He was with Porter Moser for a while. He was at Iowa State with TJ Altenberger. And so when you watch Cleveland State tonight, their defense has some similarities to what Iowa State does. So for you Illini fans, if you remember the Sweet 16 game that Illinois had against Iowa State last season, a lot of the same principles and kind of style and way that they want to dictate from the defensive side, that's what Cleveland State wants to do tonight. So kind of a classic contrast in styles between Michigan, a team that wants to be high-octane offense. They want to get it up the floor. They want to get the best high percentage shot that they can early in the shot clock before the defense gets set up. And Cleveland State wants to change defenses. They want to try to keep Michigan off balance. So it's going to be fun to watch. Michigan is going to be one of the better teams, I think, in the Big Ten Conference this year. I'm really looking forward to seeing Danny Wolf up close and his multifaceted skill set. Vlad Golden, who will be one of the premier bigs, and not just in the Big Ten, but in the nation. And Roddy Gale Jr. as well, because I think that he's got a new lease on life, having transferred from Ohio State, and he looks more aggressive. Trey Donaldson will be one of the more athletic point guards in the Big Ten. And LJ Kaysen, very talented freshman, goes hard, high motor kid, high level of confidence, and the staff is really high on him. So there's a number of different players I'm looking forward to seeing on the Wolverine squad. And I'm also looking forward to seeing Daniel's team and how their offseason habits, how fast can they kick in for the game. That's one of the things that Coach Robinson is looking for. So tune in at 8 p.m. Me and Jason Horowitz will be holding down the 1s and 2s on BTN, Cleveland State versus Michigan. All right. I've got about 6 questions, guys, that I'm looking forward to at the start of the year. Can Purdue three-peat as Big Ten champions? In the regular season, I believe they can. Braden Smith I still think he's getting disrespected nationally. To me, he's a top 3 point guard in the country. The numbers that he put up last season were some of the best of a point guard in the last decade. He didn't get a lot of credit for it. He'll be asked to score a little bit more, which he can do. And if you guys remember, I'll take you back a few years ago. I'm calling a game at Northwestern, and they were talking about, it was about midway through the Big Ten slate, and I put up Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer as freshmen to watch, and I got barbecued because they're like, fans and people on Twitter like, what are you talking about? What about Jalen Hood-Schifino? And I had mentioned those guys before the graphic came up. But I'd like Braden Smith the first time I saw him when I went over to West Lafayette and watched him in the preseason. He's got it. He's got swag. He's tough. He knows how to play. He and Fletcher Lawyer are not going to see anything new. Even when they go on the road at Oregon and Washington, they won't be phased. So from a regular season standpoint, I do believe that Purdue can three-peat. Will be interesting to see if that comes true. Number two, who are the returning players that I expect to make the biggest jump? John Blackwell, Wisconsin. I've been talking about him. When I went to watch Wisconsin practice in the preseason, he's got a different level of confidence. He's not going to force the issue, but he will take over a game. He can always shoot the three. He's getting downhill. His mid-range is nasty. His creativity, he's always going to defend. He's going to rebound, and he's an underrated passer. I think John Blackwell can end up being a first-team All-Big Ten performer this season. Next up is Bryce Williams of Nebraska. Love his smooth, silky game. He ran the point guard position some of the time last season for Nebraska. And so it's standing at 6'7" with the way that he can shoot from long range. I think he's improved putting it on the deck a little bit in attack mode. So I think that you'll see an even better Bryce Williams for Nebraska this year. And Nebraska will be one of those teams that I think people are overlooking that they probably shouldn't, because they've got depth, they've got experience, and I think they're going to play with a lot of confidence this season. Third up is Nick Martinelli of Northwestern. He's a jack of all trades type of guy. Chris Collins didn't run a lot of stuff for him last season, but I think with his progression, the way that he's gotten better, and he's a lefty, 6'7", 6'8"-ish. He can do a lot of different things, and I think he's going to be even more aggressive this year. These are three players that I think, returning players in the Big Ten, that I think can make a big jump. Number three, can Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey take Rutgers to the big dance? Now, these two don't lack for talent. We all know that. They're going to be making big money in the NBA following this season. But it's going to be interesting because when you rely on freshmen in the post-COVID era, and I believe this is the last year that people can take that COVID year, but there are still players in college basketball, ladies and gentlemen, that are 23, 24 years old. I don't care how talented you are. Ask John Calipari about in the last few years trying to get a bunch of freshmen to compete with older dudes. It's not an easy task. Now, if it can't be done, guys like Cooper Flagg and Con Knuppel at Duke, they have the talent to do it. So do Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. I think there's enough of a supporting cast. And I think the key for Rutgers will be Emmanuel Ogbole up front. If he could be a rim protector and stay out of foul trouble and be physical and give them a baseline defensive presence from the front line, allow Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, Jeremiah Williams, Tyson Acuff, PJ Hayes, Jordan Dierkach, these guys to kind of find their roles, find their niches. I mean, because look, guys, the Big Ten could easily get 10 teams in the NCAA this season. Easily. They could challenge the Big East record for 11. That's how deep this league is. So Rutgers is in that mix. And if things can come together and Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey remain as good as advertised, Steve Pikiell could be dancing, ladies and gentlemen, in Piscataway, dirty jersey in the house, baby. Number 4, which new coach will succeed most in the Big Ten this season? I like Dana Altman or Dusty May. And I was going to go early in the summer, I said Dana Altman. But the more that I've researched Michigan, the more that I saw their 2 exhibition games against Oakland and Toledo, the more I like. And I think that the Oregon squad, Jackson Shelstad may be the Big Ten Player of the Year outside of Braden Smith. Kwame Evans Jr. is going to be a force. Oregon's got length. Dana Altman always has length. They change defenses up on you. They attack you, and they get better as the year goes on. I think Dana Altman, for that reason, and I think Dusty May, tune in tonight. I don't want to give away too much right now, but tune in tonight because we'll be giving you a lot of information about Dusty May's approach, what makes him different, why he was so coveted this season by Louisville, by Michigan, by other programs that were looking to hire coaches. He kind of had his pick of the litter, and he picked Michigan. There's a reason why he was highly coveted. He's a really good coach. Daniel Robinson, in shoot around earlier today, when he was speaking to Jason Horowitz and me, spoke wonders about Dusty, about the kind of coach he is, about the kind of man he is. So people in the industry know, and hopefully you all will tune in tonight. BTN, Cleveland State versus Michigan. You'll hear me and Jason break it down in depth at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I like these two coaches, and I may give a slight edge to Dana Altman, who had the most success in their first year here in the Big Ten. That's number 4.